Welcome to Penelope's Workshop. My name is Jim Gary. This channel is about the things I do in my shop, including the restoration of a 25-year-old motorhome, my old British sports cars, tools I use, and projects I do. I will be releasing videos every Friday. If you're interested in previous videos, please look for the links in the description below. So today's video is about adding a bidet seat in our bathroom. It's not a topic you were probably thinking about, but it involved adding a new outlet near the toilet as the bidet seat requires power. So let's get on with the video. Today we're going to install a bidet toilet seat, and this is our second bathroom, and I installed one in here a number of months ago. I think it was back in late November, and it's made by Toto, and I'll show you the box so you can see what it is. And it's kind of nice because it's got a remote, so you don't have to sit around and try to figure out which buttons to push. But actually, once you get used to it, you don't really need buttons much. So basically what it does is it's built into this toilet seat. This part here is a nozzle, and it comes out from behind this door, and it'll stick out, and then it'll spray up into the appropriate area. So it works pretty well. It's got these annoying LED lights that drive me crazy, but quite honestly, it's great. And it heats up the water, and it'll heat up the toilet seat if you want to, although I've got that turned off because we live in Florida. The only difficulty with installing it is it needs a 110 volt outlet so that it can heat up the water and heat the air and all that. So here's what I had to put in. I used a GFCI outlet, and the other side of this wall is the living room, so I was able to simply bring it around through the wall to get an outlet here. It's funny, just last month we were in Turkey. We spent 2 weeks in Turkey, and every single toilet in Turkey had a bidet built into it. So anyway, we're going to install one in the master bedroom. So here's the box, Toto, and here's the part. It's a Toto SW3084 number 1. Cost, I think, about $360. They have cheaper versions, but this has a remote to control it, which is nice, and it also uses hot water. So it comes with an installation guide, and I've already installed one of these, so that's not going to be hopefully needed. User manual, and here's the remote. Comes with good quality Duracell batteries. That's kind of a nice thing. This is the adapter for the plumbing. And again, modern plumbing fittings tend to be plastic, so I should be able to do this pretty much by hand. Here's the screws to bolt it down with. And this is the adapter to adapt the toilet seat to the porcelain rim. And then finally, toilet seat where it connects into the water supply, and this goes into that plug we just installed. Let's get on with it. If you want, you can mount this card along with this mounting hole and mount it to the side cabinet of the wall near the toilet, and just click this in place to keep it from wandering around. I guess if you had little kids, that might be a good idea. And it's also got the key to what all these different buttons on the remote do. But once you've had this for a while, you don't really need that. So I'm probably not going to install this. I didn't on the other one. It also comes with this anti-theft device for the remote. So if you wanted to, like if you had, I think it's more for if you have kids or something. There's a screw. So here's the screw and a little clip to actually screw the remote into this wall bracket. Here's the underside of the toilet seat, and you can see here's the nozzle, here's a little panel that fits over it, and these two hooks here are what connect it to the base that's attached to the toilet itself, and there's a release button on the side if you ever need to remove it. Simple. Here's the master bath showing the new outlet for the bidet and how I wired it behind the baseboard from an existing outlet in an earlier video. These long rubber grommets go into the holes that are there for the toilet seat. And if you look at them closely, they have brass threads at the bottom so that you can bolt in the bidet toilet seat in later. And they're really hard to get in. You have to moisten them with water and then push them in as hard and as far as you can. And finally, when you get some of it to come out from underneath, then you can get down there and pull with one hand while pushing from above. And with a lot of hard work and a lot of effort, they eventually will work their way in, and you'll be happy. So I've sped up the second one threefold, but it's just as hard to put in as the first one was. But you'll get it done. The attachment plate for the bidet seat aligns with the toilet seat bolt holes. I put it about 1 inch away from the tank, and they're are two small metal plates that fit to the attachment plate, and they're notched so you can adjust them front to back to align the seat properly with the toilet bowl. So just pick a position and go ahead and try it. Once you've positioned the base plate, it's time to run a bolt through each one of the small metal plates that you put in into the toilet seat holes. And the threads of the bolt will catch on the threads near the bottom of those rubber grommets. And these have got to be pretty tight so the base plate can't slide back and forth, especially once the bidet seat is attached. If later on you find that the seat slides back and forth with your weight when you're sitting on it, just go ahead and retighten those bolts and you'll be fine. The bidet seat simply slides into the base plate and it latches in place with those metal hooks I showed you before. So now that it's on, take a look at how the front edge of the toilet seat aligns with the front edge of the toilet bowl. The front of the seat should align with the front of the toilet bowl. And in this case, the bidet seat is too far back, so I need to take off the bidet seat using the release latch that's on the right side. Then loosen the two bolts and move the two small notch plates back a notch or two. This should have the effect of moving the bidet seat in a slightly more forward position to better align it with the front of the toilet bowl. Once the notched plates are positioned how you want them, retighten the two bolts as before. Remember, if the bolts aren't tight enough, the bidet seat can slide back and forth when you're sitting on it, so make sure they're tight. I actually tighten them a little at a time and then check to see if I can move the mounting plate. With the bolts in place and tight, slide the bidet seat back on. You should hear and feel the metal hooks latching into place. Now the bidet seat should align better with the toilet bowl and not move side to side. So we're done with the installation of the bidet seat. Here's the original water supply tube. It's got a 7/8 inch fitting where it attaches to the toilet and a 3/8 inch compression connection where it fits to the shutoff valve. The adapter that came with the bidet seat screws into the toilet and has a side connector to supply water to the bidet seat. The new supply tube is flexible, but it has the same size fitting, so it'll fit to the bottom of the adapter and also to the shutoff valve. I've already screwed the adapter to the toilet tank fitting, so now I'm screwing the new supply line to the shutoff valve, and not too tight because it's PEX plumbing that the valve's attached to, and that's plastic. I screwed the 7/8 inch side of the new supply line to the adapter. Again, hand tighten is fine on these fittings. Put in properly. Here's the connection to the bidet. Here's the incoming water connection, and there's the shutoff valve down here. Now I'm doing a final check on the plumbing fittings and then running the power cord to the outlet so it's ready to go. The bidet seat won't operate unless it detects somebody sitting on it, but here are the basic controls on the remote. This button causes the nozzle to extend out of here through this door, and then it'll spray water upwards until you press this black square button that turns it off. So here's the final install, and I just want to show you I did mount the remote here. It's nice, it's just a little thing. It's got a magnet attachment, so when it goes in, it sticks right in. And again, if you have kids, there's a part that comes with this. You can clamp it so it won't move. But all in all, it was a pretty easy install this time. Second time's a charm. Well, that about wraps up this video. The new seat works very well, and my wife and I are happy with it. Again, if you're interested in other content on my channel, please take a look at the links in the description below. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe. Bye.